right, welcome guys to another live Laser Distractions. Hope y'all doing well tonight. Um, I have got a couple of little projects I could I could run tonight. I was really kind of scouring the worldwide internet for something different. Something just always looking for something, a cool little project that's something different, and I never really found anything that jumped out at me. But I did have some Memorial Day projects that I've kind of had stashed away. So I thought, well, I could run one of those tonight. But I kind of got thinking about something else. I know of course, we have John Thompson in here. He says just got his own tech up and running, done a few projects. And I know there's two or three, maybe four other people that are YouTube channel members that have used my link, and I thank you so much for that, uh, and got themselves an Omtech Laser. So I thought before I would turn the chiller and everything, you notice it's pretty quiet in here right now. It is if I leave all that stuff off. I thought I would leave that stuff off to start with tonight and just see if anybody that has gotten a laser recently, or if you just, have thought of some questions or something you'd like to know. uh, Maybe we do just a little bit of a Q&A, and then I'll, you know, run one of those projects, unless we just have a ton of questions. But I don't know that I can answer everything because I'm still new to a lot of this myself. But um, I will do my best uh, to answer your questions or show you with the machine. Tim Keller's in the house. Good evening, Tim. Ben Warren is here. How you doing, Ben? How are you coming along with your Omtech, Ben? I think you were one of them that bought one recently. I know Jerry Brown bought one right after the first of the year. You got the exact same model I did, and I think he's doing pretty well with his because he's really spitting out the layered projects and stuff like that. But if anybody's got any questions, throw them in the chat. If not, I'll go ahead and turn all the noise on and start getting ready to cut something. It's like I said, I hope everybody's having a good evening. It's been a beautiful day here. It's been about 85, I think. Um, just been a really nice day, and it's supposed to be another one tomorrow. So let's see. John says, "What running speeds do you use for different types of cuts and burns?" Well, let me close that, and I'll get light burn opened up here. And I'm going to tell you, I am terrible at saving things to my library. I might have a few things in here, but I'll just start with the thing that I cut most often is, let's see if I got a piece of it somewhere. Well, this is the scrap piece that I ran the other day, but this is that they call it 1/4 inch pure bond plywood. It's it's really good stuff. It's really nice on both sides. It's really just two veneers and then a core material. I'm not sure what they're using, whether that's poplar or something else that they're using. But this stuff cuts like butter. And like I said, they call it 1/4 inch. It really mics at about 0.2 sometimes 0.210 if it's humid out. If it's real dry out, it might be 0.195 or something like that. But I always cut this material. And again, John, you have to remember, I'm not doing this as a job or trying to, go to craft fairs or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm just out here piddling. So I don't worry about speed. And when I get something that I know cuts right, that's what I leave it at. So all of this, you can see it's got the nice clean edge. Um, and with this type of material, I usually cut 10 millimeters per second with 30% power. Now there's some other material, and I don't know if I've got a, let's see if I got a piece of it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to, well, I guess this box would be, okay, yeah, here's a piece of it. So this is a little thinner. That's what this little box is made out of. And this is what they call their 5/32. And it usually mics at about 135 is what this is. Actually, it's usually more than that. This piece, 136, 137, something like that. So it's about, and like I said, they call that 5/32, but even that is a little bit under what 5/32 is. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 5/32 is 0.156, I believe. So it's a little bit under that. And that material, most of the time when I'm cutting it, I'll cut it for the same settings, 10 millimeters a second and 30% power. Although, if I can remember to change it, because it's thinner, I can cut it at 25% instead of 30. But I usually just go ahead and use the same settings. That way I know it's gonna cut through. Some other stuff. Let me just start looking here. Let me go back and find where I did the acrylic that night. I don't know if I probably got it somewhere. I want to say it was about the same settings, I think. Here it is. Okay, yeah, that you remember when I did the well, I guess I can share so you can see what I'm looking at here. When I did this thing here, this is out of that 1/8 inch acrylic. And you notice it's backwards because I was engraving it, and then when you turn it over, you'll get the smooth side on the front. But for engraving that acrylic and getting a nice frosted look, I was using 250 millimeters a second and 15% power. That's to do the engraving part. And then to cut it out, I was using, and I can't see squat without my glasses, 12 millimeters per second and 30% power. Now, John, if I remember right, you might be writing these down as I say them. If I remember right, I think you got a 60 watt instead of an 80 watt. So yours might vary a little bit. You might have to use a little bit more power, or maybe go just a little bit slower. I don't know. So let's see what else I can find. Let's see, what other materials have I cut? I really haven't cut that much stuff. I can tell you what I use with the, let's see if I can find, I am not very organized here. I was trying to find where I did the slate. No. If I wasn't looking for it, I'd seen it, because I know I've seen it at some. Okay, well, here's one that's got the scratch paper. Let's look at the scratch paper settings. That is just super fast, 500 millimeters a second and 17% power. And that's that black scratch paper looking stuff like this. Now this one was done with a diode, but just to give you an idea what it looks like. And it also has some clear sprayed on it afterwards too. So that's why that one looks shiny. So there's the settings for that. Let's see here. Somewhere in here, I know I've got some stuff for the slate. But I don't see where they are now. Let's see here. Okay, let's do the glass one. Remember when I did the Hulk the other day? It was also pretty fast. It was 500 millimeters per second with 12% power. Looks like, oh, there it is. That's when I did that Hulk thing on that piece of glass. And I'm trying to remember. I will find it here in just a second. I'm not sure where I put it. But somewhere in here I've got the slate. And I don't remember where I put that. Well, I'll keep looking while we go for another question here. Let's see. Ryan said, looking a year older, buddy. Yeah, I'm tell you what, I always used to kind of dread my birthdays. You know, I never really made a big deal out of it. It was just kind of another day. But now it's the it feels good to roll around and hit another one. Seeing as how they almost stopped 2 years ago, it's I'm quite happy for another one to roll around, man. So let's see. Okay, John says he's cutting um, the same product from Home Depot. Ben says he's learning to use the material test cards more and more. That's one thing I just don't do. Now I guess it'd be different again if I was out here trying to make up stuff to sell on Etsy or craft fair or something like that. I would spend the time, but I usually don't. I tell you what I do is when I get ready to start a new material like the scratch paper or even a rock or something like that, I go to YouTube and say CO2 laser engrave on a rock or scratch paper or glass or whatever. And I find, and then I get somebody that will say their settings, and then I'll go, okay, well, I'll try that. And if I'm watching, there's two people I watch. One of them is that Image R, the one where you do the photo processing. Well, they have a YouTube channel called Image R or Imager or whatever they call it. And that gal that does that stuff, she has an 80-watt laser, which is what I have. I don't know if it's the same brand or whatever, but so every time she tells a setting, I can pretty much come out here and put that same setting in and it works just as good as what she does. And then there's another guy, and I think he's got his is either an 80 or a 100. I'm not sure, but usually the settings that I get from him also work. But yeah, I'm not big on the test cards because I know if I did them when I got ready to look at it, I wouldn't be able to find it. I would have misplaced it or something. So That's all right. Alan, how you doing, Alan? He says, "Is the Pure Bond what you order online from Home Depot?" It is. It is. Well, I probably. Let's see here. This is. I'll just hold this box up here. I'm just about. Let's see. There's only 4 of these in here, but they come in these boxes, and there'll be 10 pieces in here. And as you can see, you can get them in maple, birch, cherry, red oak, hickory, walnut, or mahogany. And I do have a box of mahogany over there, so I haven't cut any of it, but I may cut some tonight if we get to a project. But that's how they both come. They even the 5/32 comes in that same size box, and there's 10 pieces. Of course, there's a little more room in the box since the material's not as thick. But Pure Bond plywood that Home Depot sells, that's made in by Columbia Forest Products, which is in somewhere in North Carolina, I believe. What does it say here? Yeah. Old Fort, North Carolina is where it's made. And in fact, the guy who's see it doesn't come from Home Depot. It comes straight from there. They drop ship it straight from there. So I like getting it because, as you can see, this came FedEx, and I usually have it within a day or two. It's almost like ordering from Amazon because it gets here so quick. But yeah, I've had good luck with that stuff. I really never have had a piece that's full of voids or anything. It's always cuts like butter. So let's see here. Did I miss something? KS is in the house. Jerry's here. Got caught up in the Mandalorian. Okay. Need to start a book of speeds and stuff. I have the slate coasters ready to go. In the last settings, yeah. Yeah, usually, like I said, I keep forgetting to set up the library. I know you should. I put a couple of things in there, but I, it's not that big a deal because when I get ready to run something, all I do is I'll go back and go, okay, well, I did something on this live stream the other night out of that. So I'll just go find whatever it was I ran and look and see. And I know that's not the smart way to do it, but nobody's ever accused me of being smart. So let's see. Jerry says, I'm just hitting 21 for the 63rd time. Well, I'm not that dang old, Jerry. Come on. I'm not that bad. Says, do you have the sizes for those hold downs? I'm assuming you're talking about these little things. I'm trying to remember. I got these off of one of those free sites. So let me go see if I can find it. I have all those places bookmarked. And I don't remember. Maybe it was this one. Let me see here. I think it might have been this one. Let me just put. No, that doesn't look like it, does it? Maybe it wasn't this place. Anyway, I can get you the file, John. Let's see. I might have that. Um, Tell you what I'll do. Let me go. Let me look in my downloads because I probably got. Of course, that's been a minute ago. Well, I don't see it there, so let's see if I can find it here. Did I put it in Laser Jigs? There it is, right there, I think. Yep, that's it right there. Let's see if I can do this. I think you can export to an SVG. So I'll save that, and I'll go find it over here, right there. And let's see. Now I'm not going to be able to put it in the chat. I'll tell you what, John, if you will send me an email to, I think I've got it right here. Yeah, just send me an email to this email address, and anybody else that wants that. I got it somewhere free, one of those free things, but it's been so long. But I love these. They're simple. Um, I mean, you guys have seen me use them. You just poke them down in the honeycomb and put just a little pressure, and that has just enough thing that it holds the corners down really well. So works really good. Yeah, if you just send me an email, or anybody, like I said, anybody else that wants it, I'll just send you that SVG, and you can set it up and run as many as you want. And again, I ran these out of that same Pure Bond stuff, the quarter inch from um, um, Home Depot. Ryan says we've got a blank screen. Oh no. This stupid stuff. I have got everything. Before I came out here, I turned every single thing off. I just closed YouTube a while ago so that I tell you what, I'm about ready to just quit doing live streams. I'm sick of this stuff never working anymore. Let me get back over here and see. Yeah, looks like it's working now. Okay, let's see. Light burn just popped up. Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, I don't know what happens. Like I said, once I get going, I just so I don't use any extra bandwidth, I don't need to. I turn YouTube off, but then you guys always tell me the screen messes up, but it looks fine in StreamYard. You don't see anything wrong. So, all right, looks like it's back working. So maybe it was just Ryan. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. We got any other questions? If we don't, I will go ahead and fire this thing up. Jerry says at least. Oops, wait a minute. He says at least we can hear him. Yeah, I got not one but two mics charged up, so I don't think this one will die. But if it does, I got the backup on the thing there. Alan says, Dave, do you throttle the air differently for cutting versus engraving, for example, acrylic? That's a great question, Alan. And no, I don't. And the reason I don't is because I'm just still running a stock air. I did a YouTube short one time where I took my little air gauge and held it in the hose and checked, and it's coming out about 6 or 7 psi. And I have never put that little valve. Let me walk around behind here. That's another thing that comes with my set of lenses and that goofy reverse alignment tool and all that. Somewhere in here it is. They give you one of these, which you'd have to pull your line out, stick one end in here, and then get another little piece and run it from here. And then you would have a way to, well, in my case, all I'm going to get is 6 or 7 psi. So I could slow it down to less than that if I want. But I've just never bothered because the stock air always seems to work regardless of whether I'm engraving, cutting, or whatever. Now, maybe it would work better if I had a air compressor and be able to turn it up to 20 or 25 or 30 or something. Some of those folks, when I say those folks, I'm talking about the crazies on Facebook groups, but some of them always talk about running 30 psi and stuff like that. And I don't know. I've kind of got my own theory. I'm probably the only one that thinks this way, but having worked around big commercial lasers and stuff, this is just the way I think. I think that there's such a thing as you can run too much psi, and then you're going to hit the stuff so hard that it's going to blow back, and get on your lens or something. Now maybe that's my theory. You can say I'm full of crap or whatever. I don't care, but I know, as Alan's asked me many times, I think now how many times I've cleaned my lens, and I haven't even cleaned them yet because I just don't have the stuff getting on them like other folks do. All right, let's see. Okay, Ryan says it was just the share the screen part. Okay, I'm going to stop that screen sharing. Yeah, that's where they're having some trouble because I had that little warning thing up there, and as soon as I turned that off, that went away. So I don't know. Okay, William asked, do you run your chiller when the temp is high in the garage, even though you're not going to use the laser? Oh, do I run the chiller? No. No, I only turn it on, if I'm going to end up running the laser. Now, some folks, when you're having a cold snap, some folks say that, you could turn the chiller on and at least it would keep the water moving. You know how you leave a faucet dripping when it gets cold so your pipes don't freeze, that kind of thing. So you could do that, but I've never really done that either. Um, what I do is just if I know it's going to get down pretty cold outside, I will disconnect my 6-inch hose that's going to that flange in that board that's shooting out the window. I'll take that loose and then stuff t-shirt or something in that hole, and then that way there's no, like, if it's windy out and real cold, it won't blow up. In it's probably not going to happen here in Georgia anyway, but I have done that because we did have back in December, we had some stuff where it got so cold. I not only did that, but I drained the water out of the tube and carried my chiller just inside the door there so that I was worried that it never got below 42 out here. So I was okay. But now, so I keep looking at your question. You run your chiller when the temp is high. No. Well, of course, probably today is one of the hottest days it's been since I've had this stuff because I got all this. I think it was delivered the 18th of October, so we're right at 6 months, and most of that's been over the winter months. So John said, did some powder coating on the laser. It came out pretty nice. Okay. I do have some, I don't know, you can see just a little bit. There's some orange GarageWorks CNC parts back there. I could play around with those and try burning the powder coating off of some of those. But yeah, Alan says I better clean my lens. Yeah, I'll get around to it one day, Alan. uh, let's see. Jerry said he wants to try the powder coating. Yeah, it only turns it on. Yeah, and another thing I've always gotten in the habit of doing, except I haven't tonight, is whenever I know I'm going to come out here and run the laser, or even if I think I might be coming out here to run the laser, I'll come out here and turn the chiller on, and I like to let it run, 5 or 10 minutes or so, just because I don't do it much anymore. But I used to open up the thing and look at the tube when I turn the chiller on, and because my chiller sets lower than my tube, whenever I turn it off, a lot of the water drains back down the lines back into the chiller. So when I turn it on, if you have that open and you're looking at the tube, you can see that there's some bubbles when it first starts flowing through there. And I don't know, some people say it's not good to have bubbles. You need to try to get all those out. So I like to let it run. And after it's run just a minute or two, um, the bubbles all go away. And but now I don't even open that up and look at it. I just turn it on. I'll stick my head around to the other side, check the sight glass, make sure the water level's still good, which it should be. It's a closed system, so it can't really go anywhere. But yeah, Ryan wants to know if you're engraving powder coat. Let's see what he says here. I did an engrave or fill, then put in powder coating. Oh, he's talking about that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's somebody on YouTube that I've seen do that. I don't remember who it is, but yeah, they did a fairly deep engrave, and then poured some uh, powder coating powder in it, and then run over it again or something like that. Yeah, I don't know that I would ever want to try something like that, but all right. Well, I might. Well, let's see. What is it? 20 till. I don't know if I'll run those things now or not, but let me show you. That way I can get the. If I share my screen, let's see if I can do it and not. I'm not going to select the entire screen because that's what I did before. Let's see. Okay, now let me pull that out of there for a second, and I'll show you the projects I'm going to be running at some point. Let me get, what in the world? There we go. Okay, so, oh, that's not going to work like that, I'll bet. Let's see. I may have to restart that because I said window and now it's not going to do it because where did I put that? Memorial Day. There it is. Yeah, these are, as you might guess, these are, yeah, that's not going to work. I gotta close that out and do it again. So, oops, not that. Yeah, let's try that one. Well, nuts. I'm going to have to, I'll try the entire screen again because that's what I need it to do. Okay, let me try to open these up. Maybe this thing won't get wonky, but this is some Steve Good scroll saw patterns again. I was on there the other day and I picked out 2 or 3 of these to do for the upcoming Memorial Day holiday. So that's one of them right there. And let's see. This is, where's it at? There we go. This is another one. And what I was going to do is, you notice that backer board. See, I've got some of that. Let's see if I can get a piece of it out here. See, I've got a piece of this mahogany, which using the regular colored, this is the maple, so that would be a good contrast against that. And I haven't tried any of this. I think it's going to cut same as the other, but I thought that would work pretty good for this one. And then there's one other one I got, which would probably also look pretty good with that darker mahogany on the background here. So that's what I'll be doing with those. So, all right, let's see if yeah, that air hadn't come back yet, but I expect it to come back pretty much any time. Let's see here. Ryan says, yep, we see it. So I guess I don't know why I've got that one in there. JR says, I need a 30 by 60 pole barn shop and to retire. That is all. Yeah. Well, if you quit letting them cars get stolen. Oh, man. How did that come out? Did they ever catch them or get the cars back, or are they long gone? Just curious. Let's see here. Should I try to run one of these real quick? We got about 15 minutes. Let's I guess I will, or I can at least go through the motions and show you how I get these ready. So I'm going to, the way I do it is I use VCar Pro right here. And then I'll just hit new. And I usually keep this set up like this. It's 12 by 19 by 0.2, which is my little blanks that I normally use. So I usually just keep that set up. And let's see, we will import vectors. I'll come here to Memorial Day. I'm going to try this one first, I think. And this comes in with all the pages on there. So I usually just start turning off pages. Let's see. Okay, so this one is the backer. He's saying that's 1/4 inch thick. And then this is the, you know, he's using a scroll saw with this, so he's got 3/4 thick, but I'm just going to be using the other side. And I might as well, let's see. Another thing that, like I showed once before, you have to be careful because a lot of times there's a bunch of double lines. See, if I actually hit delete, that's still there. So for some reason, you get a lot of double lines with this stuff. So I usually highlight this like that and right click. And let's see, select duplicate vectors and then just hit delete. And that will get rid of all the doubles. Like I say, it doesn't really hurt anything, but you just don't want to have to go over and cut the same thing twice. So I think what I'm going to do, I always hate you know, like when I bring something in, this is 12 inches wide here, and I always figure I might as well make it as big as I can, at least widthwise. So let's see. Yeah, this will do the size. So we'll make this. Yeah, it's drawn as 8 by 8. So we'll make this. We'll go 11. And stick it over there like that. Okay, so then now let's see, I can go ahead and delete that. I don't need to know that. Okay, so now I will highlight all of this and export as an SVG. Let's see, we'll call this Honor Our Fallen. Okay, now I should be able to come here, go new, and import. Oops, not in the right spot, am I? Memorial Day, Honor Our Fallen. And there we go. Okay, this has got, let's set the origin up there. And then I usually draw, you don't have to do this, but I've just always kind of gotten the habit of doing it, drawing that and putting my blank size there, 12 by 19. Lock that back. And then we can, oops, nuts. Let's see. Okay, 12 by 19. Now let's see if we can highlight that. Make it a frame. Doesn't really matter where I put it, because it's going to fit in there easy enough. Okay, now Need to go back and look at that one more time, make sure. Okay, yeah, it's all of that. Okay, so we'll go, yeah, we'll go ahead and cut that. Cut that first. Let me get the chiller on so it can be spitting some water in there. Let's see, we will. All right, I'm going to turn that. I'm going to turn that screen share back off for now because that's something that's making the. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yeah, now I've got that selected. Yeah, I'm not getting that error. All right, let's put this in here. Looks like we'll need the hold downs on this one. Okay, now. I think that's close enough for government work. Let's frame this. All right, let's see. Let me check the chiller temperature. It should be fine, but now I guess this would go back to your question, John, about do I turn the chiller on? Because it's been extra hot out here today, my chiller is set to run between uh, 16 and 18 degrees Celsius. So I didn't look to see what it was when I first turned it on, but it is just now got below 20. It's at 19 and a half right now. And that's because, you know, it's been warm today. Like I said, it got up to 85. But that won't hurt anything as long as you turn your chiller on, you know, and give it a chance to get back to that good operating temperature. I don't know that it would hurt it to run it, especially since, you know, it's not that much difference between 18 and 20, about 5 degrees, I think. But you know, if you want to stay within that 16 to 18 degrees Celsius, just turn it on and let it run, and then it'll get back down to where it's supposed to be. Let me get the little fan going there. Get the smoke out, and I think, oh, I better check the focus, hadn't I? Duh. Oh yeah, I would have been too high if I hadn't. Well, let's see. Always not hit the button, so you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, I think we're ready. Chiller's on, dust extraction's on, laser beam is on. We should be good to go. All righty, let's hit it and see what happens. Jerry says, made that look so easy. Every time I lay out the origin, it goes 3 inches to the right and starts from there. Are you remembering to hit the origin button on the machine? Because even if you have this thing set for current position, you need to push that origin button uh, on the machine to set it initially. So let me take a look here and see. Yeah, it looks like that's cut through. I did, if y'all remember last week, I had lowered the, got to messing around with that stupid reverse alignment tool and got lower in the bed. And then when I brought it back up, I realized that the rod, the lead screw rod in the lower right or front right corner had apparently slipped because it was pretty much the same everywhere else, but I was off on that corner, so I had to get an Allen wrench and loosen that screw and get it to where I could turn that lead screw without moving the rest of it, and then did that. And I even got out here, let's see, was it yesterday or today? I can't remember. Anyway, I got out here and checked it even further and took my little gauge, I guess you'd call it, and measured it dead in the middle and on each side and on each corner, about six, let's see, three, six, about 9 different places. So I should have previewed that to make sure it was going to cut in the right order. Let me see if that's going to. Okay, yeah, it's going to do okay. Yeah, okay. And it should take about 16 minutes and 23 seconds. We'll see how close that is to the actual time. Jerry says, I'm building a lifter base for mine this weekend after I drop off a 3D printer to Gatesville. It needs about 2 feet of height. Yeah, I've been thinking about that very same thing, Jerry. I'm just, if I was out here running production and knocking parts out left and right, I would have already done it. But these things, they're big, but they do set kind of low. You think about it. I'm a short guy, and the bed is really only a little bit above my knees. So I always have to kind of squat down on the. Thankfully, I have some of that fatigue mat down here, so it's soft, and I can just kneel down right there to get stuff out of there. But it would be a backbreaker if you were doing it all the time, like I'm sure you are. I think you can tell by the way that stuff's bowing that after it cuts that it's cutting all the way through. There's no smoke at all coming on top here. It's all going underneath. So even with my dirty old lenses, Alan, it's still cutting like butter. I don't know how often you're supposed to change out the water in the chiller too, but again, I'm not using mine a lot like some people, but I got to thinking it has been right at 6 months that I've had the thing, so probably won't be much longer. I'll be swapping that out. Jerry said he hits his head every week at least once, and to clean it, that's even worse. And of course, you don't want to get in there and bump that camera because then you mess all that up again. He says it took a break the last few days, but the orders kept it rolling. 150 pieces of acrylic and about 50 pieces I messed up on. Okay, you still making those little maker coin things, right? So, all right, let's see. What did I say this was going to take? Let me go check that again. 1623. Wow, it's just at 7 minutes. It's got a ways to go. All right, do y'all want to hang around? We've been at it an hour here. Do y'all want to hang around for me to cut that mahogany backer? That shouldn't take too long. Alan says, have I bought a spare set of mirrors? No, I have not. And again, Alan, one reason why I haven't is because since I'm not, out here running production, if I get a cracked mirror or something and I have to wait a day or two or a week to get another one, it's no big deal. If I was out here trying to make some serious money with the thing, yeah, I would have uh, some backup parts like the mirrors and stuff. I've seen a lot of people in the Facebook groups say, wanting to know where they can get a tube because they want to get one for backup, and everybody keeps saying those things have a shelf life, so it's not really a good idea. Now if you're keeping an eye on the hours you're putting on your machine, and you're getting close, then you might order one. But they said, just that's not something you want to just keep on the shelf as a spare when the one you're using, you're just getting going on, because it could be that when you get ready to put the one on the shelf in, it may not work. So I don't really understand how they have a shelf life like that, but they say they do. So Alan says he went ahead and bought a set of mirrors. All right. I don't think they're not really that much, are they, Alan? I don't know about for a Thunder. If you get them from Thunder, I'm sure they cost more than other places, but I don't think they're a whole lot of money. Jeff said he built a 3-foot stand for his 80-watt. Are you pretty tall, Jeff? I'm only about 5'7", and I'm probably not even that now because I think you shrink when you get old. But like I said, if I was out here day in, day out running this thing and having to bend over and pick up little pieces and stuff, I probably would have taken the time to build another stand of at least 1.5 feet or so to get it up higher. I actually like the height of the controls because you can look straight down because there's not much of a tilt to that little control area with the little screen, so you can see it real good. But it's just the bed's another foot lower. We're at about 11 minutes now, so still have about 5 minutes to go, looks like. I can tell by looking at my stupid red dot thing has got off again. You can see a big gap between it and the actual laser beam. I guess I'm just going to break down, take that silly thing back off because it gets out of whack all the time. And sometimes I'll spend 5 minutes getting it adjusted, but it's just a lousy way they have it tightened on there. It moves too easy. Okay, good deal. Yeah, I figured Thunder was pretty proud of theirs. Ryan says the CO2 leaks out over time. I guess. I don't know. Oh, yeah, Jeff's 6'4". Yeah. Yeah, you're dang near a foot taller than I am. Well, we had one. Okay, now I guess we got a couple. It says, sure, go for it. Keep going. All right, well, I'll go ahead and run the backer. That way y'all get to see what it's going to look like. And then, of course, I'll probably shoot some clear on all of it after I get it glued up. I'm anxious to see how that mahogany cuts because I have not cut any of that. I keep, I get stuff like that and I go, oh, well, I'll save that for something special. And then I'm like, no reason to save it. I don't do anything special. But I thought this project like this would be good to use that instead of trying to run maple and then stain one on the, stain the backer darker. That's what I did with those Easter projects. And those come out great, but if you've got different colored pieces of plywood, you could use that too. Jeff says, do I use CA glue on the wood? I think he means. It depends on what I'm doing. with something like, the problem is when you use the wood glue, you know, it's hard to put it on there without it squishing out the sides. And then when it does that, you got to take a damp cloth and make sure you get it all cleaned up good, or, you know, you don't want it showing there. It's going in the home stretch, I think. It's at 1440 right now. So, but whenever I do the, Jeff, if you've seen the different characters that I make, like, you know, I've done a Popeye and olive oil. Most recently, I did the leprechaun. Whenever I'm doing those and gluing those in, I use CA glue. But I don't use the accelerator. That way it gives me a little bit more time and helps me from gluing my fingers together. Jerry said he's 5'10", but he's a little more round than he used to be. Well, that's okay. When the doctor says you need to get in shape, say you're already in shape. Round's a shape. Yeah, that red dot, that thing's just annoying looking now. It's way off to the side. I will show you a little project. Let me show you something. I was out here playing around. You know, I told you I was looking for a cool project, and I just couldn't find one, but I found this thing, and I thought, what the heck, I'll try it. So I made some calipers. Now, up here at the top, it's got inches. Down below, it's got centimeters with millimeter increments and stuff. So, not bad. But I'll tell you a little secret about this, because it's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parts. Do not, if you make one of these, do not use CA glue. I was trying to be quick and put it all together at once. That was a mistake, because all it takes is one little drop of CA that squeezes out. That one's permanently stuck at 3.0625. So I just threw that one in the trash and cut another one. And on this one, they put these little holes. So what I did is I used regular wood glue, and then to make sure I got it lined up good, I put a 632 screw with, like that, just a little 632 screw and a nut in there to get everything lined up. And this one did pretty good. It's still not, you know, it's a little sticky, but probably need to maybe sand it just a hair or something. But I won't use that anyway. I was just making that for fun. I've got plenty of dial calipers. All right, let's stick it back over here. Y'all want to see that mahogany run? Yeah, looks like that all cut out there good. And hot diggity, I got another piece of scrap I won't throw away. Let's see if I can get all this out of here. Okay. I may have to take I don't know. No, they're coming out. I was going to say I might have to take the razor knife to a couple places, but I guess they're coming out. No. Yeah, I got just a couple of places I'm gonna have to. I don't know whether there was some glue in that or not. But, well, I'll go ahead and get the mahogany running while I work on that. Okay. Now come back up here. Well, let's see. Let's check the time. 16:23. Machine time on the controller says 16:24. So pretty close. All right. So let's let's see here. Yeah, looks like that's all of that. Let me move that over here. We'll hit this. We'll make that like that. 10 and 30. We'll just turn that off. And we'll come see we're in the ballpark. Looks like we are. And we're off. And while that's cutting, I'm going to try to get the last few little pieces out of this. Okay, I think I got them all. I didn't have to cut them out with a knife. They just a little tap with a mini screwdriver from the top knocked it the rest of the way out. And I think this is going to look pretty cool once I get some clear on it. I'll tell you what, old Steve Good does a good job with these scroll saw patterns. All right, let's see. Is that cutting all the way through? Yeah, feels like it did. Yeah, and just a little bit right there. Of course, I forgot to mic this to see if it's any thicker. It's right at 0.2, so let's see here. All right, let me get you back over here. That is going to look pretty good. I will put, once I get this glued up, I'll spray some clear on it and that'll darken it up a little bit. And I think that's going to look pretty good. All right. That concludes tonight's festivities. Hope y'all enjoyed seeing that cut, and hope y'all, yeah, I tell you what, I love Steve Good's thing. I mean, they're just scroll saw patterns. That's all they are. But they make excellent, excellent laser projects. You know, let's see that the cut in the backer took less than 2 minutes, and it took about 17. So in less than 20 minutes, you can cut all of this. So, yeah, there we go. I'll finish that one up and see how it does. Now it makes me want to try some, you know, in those Easter projects, I cut the maple backer and then I stained it with some dark walnut stain I had. But you can get this stuff in a walnut. So, and I'm due to place an order. I've only got like, I think 3 sheets of this maple left. So that, I'll order some of that walnut when I get to order some more of that. Let's see here. Thank you, Rob. I thought it looked okay. Tim says looks good. Let's see what's JR saying. For those that do CNC carves and fill with epoxy, do you shellac, penetrating epoxy, or just regular epoxy to seal the car from any bleed out when you pour colored epoxy into the car? I don't have a lot of experience. I've done 2 colored epoxy projects, and that's it. But I didn't put any shellac in there. I just used the epoxy. Okay, he said he's used both and had good luck with both. Okay, John says he uses the clear. Yeah. I just know when I did that one I did, I didn't really worry about it bleeding, because when I'm going to put it, like if I'm going to have, let's say, a black here, and then right next to it I'm going to have orange or something, you overlap the vector so you get a good clean line. And I've never seen it bleed in that much that if you don't overlap the vectors and try to go right, you'll have some spots where it just doesn't look clean, because it'll almost, in some cases, there may be wood showing right there. So you need to overlap those vectors. But, all right, Alan says he's always been in a hurry and you shall laugh. Okay. All right, well, I guess we're going to wrap this one up. We still ended up about an hour and a half, didn't we? So, and I think the screen did okay once I screen shared and just selected window instead of entire screen. Something about that it doesn't like, because when I do that, it gets that little error. And then when I stop sharing, it's gone. So anyway, I'm going to call it a night. I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's thing. Get all this stuff cut off. And you guys know the drill. Anybody that wants to come hang out, I'll be out here a few minutes shutting stuff off. So if you want to come hang out and BS a while, send me a Facebook message. I'll have Facebook open and see if anybody wants to. And if not, that's fine too. It's not mandatory. If you just want to, that's fine. All right. Well, we will get out of here. Thanks again, all you guys, for being a channel member. I really appreciate. It's that little bit you guys kick in the bucket each month that helps me get this wood and all, the stuff from Home Depot and all that, all this material that I'm cutting. So really helps keep things going. So I appreciate you. And with that, we will see y'all next week. Have a good one, everybody.